This is Andrian.
And this is Ray. Welcome to the Talk Lab podcast.
Every 2 weeks, we'll invite a new guest and
In every session, we'll dig into their life, relationships, and perspectives.
one question at a time.
Let's talk lab!
Yay.
Welcome to the Talk Lab podcast. This is your host Ray, and today we are very fortunate to have, Gianne Chan. We understand, there were some roadblocks, and because of that roadblock, it was an opportunity for you to re-budget a lot of the funding to build more of your build more content so that there's more user-generated content, right? Because that's important, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have a friend referring, that's like even more powerful than using an ads to get, because the ads you need to like flash it 10 times and then the conversion is like single-digit %, right?
Yeah.
It's a sales funnel way. Yeah. Ooh, I sound so pro, but I'm actually not in this space. But I think I hear enough from YouTube and stuff, which leads to the point, right? Like, where do you learn? Like, we know that, like, okay, from your social media stuff, you've been dabbling on your own, but in terms of the supply chain, the logistics, the design, it's like, okay, we know it's like from Canva and stuff, but to run it as the business, the logistics, how do you ship your own stuff? Like, how do you learn all that? Is it via Calvin, or you had like a mentor, you had a coach, YouTube? Yeah.
I don't have any mentor or coaches, but I think me and Calvin, we kind of like deal with all the problems that are coming. Like, okay, now we have to ship, so what we do, and then we look for SF Express or nearby. So we try to find like solutions on our own every time when we struggle.
Cool.
But I think to answer like the previous question that you asked, like what things you needed to do when you started your business, like build a website. Of course we have to do this, and luckily I've learned it from my previous employment with the education company. I also helped the company to fix their website, so I learned a little of that. And then editing video, because I have to tell people that I had the product. So again, I learned these like editing skills back then when I was younger, when I already started a YouTube channel on my own. And then design stuff, I'm good at it, so I like it. So for the parts that I'm not so good at it, let's say, that's where Calvin's expertise brings in.
Nice.
I hate it when I have to decide on how much to sell on that product, because then I have to calculate, okay, how much did I use on packaging? How much did I use to ship that bunch of products back to Hong Kong? I also had to add that in the initial cost, and then I know like approximately how much one of the item costs, and then we have to look into what other people are doing. And luckily we are like the first few brands to do CBD, so the price really we can decide on, because there are
you're
only,
the market maker.
there are only like 2 or 3 references to look into, and they're selling like 幾倍, like a few, like so expensive. And we were like, okay, since this is my part-time job, it's my hobby, and me and Calvin did not imagine ourselves like making a huge tons of money from this. He just wanted to help me push the baby, you know what I'm saying? Like, we wanted to launch something together.
It sounds like, okay, it sounds like you already have a baby. We have been like, help to, but I get it.
So, and then he was like, okay, then we don't have to like mark up so high. We can do it like a very average price, like slightly more expensive than like supplements, but not like CBD price range.
Okay.
So,
what's the margin to begin with, like originally to set?
I think some of the market makers were trying to earn
double or like 50
more than
so they
say 5倍, something like that.
4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
At least that is at least.
So that was like what the market was pushing for, and then you guys undercut and decide, hey, it's your part-time, you just want to push and move your products and
we
ship
don't
it.
want it to be like
a premium.
we want it to be affordable luxury, something like that. And we wanted it to be like a daily basis where people always take CBD. We don't want people to be afraid of like, oh, if I want inner peace moment, I have to pay for 1K for that. Like, really, that's not
so right
it.
now, like if I'm reading correctly, it's less than 1 倍啦, right? It's like 50 to 60% margin right now you're aiming for. And that's already really, really healthy for a business, to be honest. So I can imagine like how excited you guys must be when you see like people out there in the market are charging like extravagant prices.
And I was saying that, okay, for us, we give them the best customer experience. And Calvin is dealing with like the pricing. Okay, if I have to include this card, that card, mood tracker, blah, 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 how much it costs. So, and then we basically knew that, okay, the most expensive part would be branding, like you need the packaging. So you put the money on that and the product, and others like we don't do ads, so basically no expense on that.
Also, right now you don't run any ads today.
We
right?
still haven't run any ads.
That's very, very impressive.
Yeah, now.
And I think because you've already and it's because of the ads kind of regulations and things that makes you find and be resourceful and creative to do other leeways to push your product and awareness of the brand, which leads to very successful things. Now you don't have to rely on ads and then use that ads and then how much converts to that, and then that's your run rate. Now you can be really investing all your capital on the things that you really want to do. Push, like I think it's even more important to invest in the like of course the product's good, and the product, once you get it right, is there, it's already done. It's all about creating the brand and how you resonate, reach out, and most importantly, I think reach out to the audience that you want to. So I think, wow, I'm excited for you guys just hearing that, and I really like the point that it's a team. Like you are really the front end, because I don't know Calvin was so involved, but he's like more on the back end ops, finance, operations, stuff that like exactly what you say, and somehow you guys complemented. And it's really a blessing, because I think a lot of business partners sometimes they don't complement so well. Two people might want to be like the front end, and that doesn't work out, right? So just like how we run the podcast, we have a front end person, the back end person. So Andrea's really the post production. I'm really more on the front to reach out to guests and doing all this kind of stuff. And the social media things. Not to say I love social media, but I think it fulfills my curiosity to connect with people. And it's really a great platform. That's why I'm on board. But whether on the design and stuff, I do the bare minimum, right? Like I watch videos, like everything needs to resonate. So that's where I'm coming from. But anyway, going back to Calm & Co, right? So how long did it take you guys to build a customer base? From initially like getting the inventory and all, you really had the packaging. So that's like the first time customer, right? How long did it take in between for them to be for the customer base to grow, or like start to build like a recurring model? Because right now it's like in the beginning, I can imagine like maybe 2 years back, just at the beginning, it's like the burn rate is very high. Or I should say the initial capital is high. And after that, like when you start to hire people working for you, then you really have real all-packs, and then that gets scary but also exciting, right? And I'm sure there's a thought process that why you hired on people to help is because you already see like there's an existing run rate, and if your burn rate is below a certain amount, you feel like, hey, this business is sustainable. So I'm just very excited to hear how do you go about and think about all this, and when, and
So the first year when we were running the business, we don't have anyone in the team to help. It's basically just me and Calvin. He mainly answers the customer questions whenever there are like live chat, people asking, what should I get
the
for
back end
sleep?
guy. You're really
then,
the front end, like, hey, get people on, know about Calm & Co and stuff. And then even the customer service, live, he will handle it.
He helped answer the question.
Amazing.
But whenever like there are questions that are asking me directly, of course he refers back to me. So basically he helps manage that part, and then for shipping we handle that together. And basically we do everything together, but the pace is not very efficient, I would say, because no one is working on it full time. So to get that audience grow, I think the main thing that it's like the most essential part would be community, because I was trying all in to go and build the community, to have events, to have collaborations. We have CBD yoga, we have CBD Tai Chi, where we just hosted outside of my clubhouse. And then we have CBD beach cleaning. We went to the shore, we cleaned the beach, and then after that we had a yoga session under the sun on the beach. Basically all that different kind of community sessions where people come in, they take CBD together, and we experience the journey together.
Oh wow.
And I tried like CBD calligraphy.
Okay.
taking CBD,
Wow,
and then
okay.
practicing mindfulness, writing, and singing bowl, of
Yeah.
course. So basically, a different like
Touch points. Or,
yeah,
Wow.
new ideas on how to explore calmness. And one session is very unique, is a Cbdt ceremony. So we collaborated with like a tea guy that is like super expert teasing like different types of tea, like Chinese, how do you chong cha, something like that. So he was teaching us that, and then we infused the CBD oil into like a cold brew tea, something like
Wow.
that. Yeah.
Wow.
So some
Really?
new collaborations,
Yep.
partnerships, and helps me to make the brand grow in different
Yep.
branches.
Yep.
Like not
Yep.
only online, but we do a lot of offline activities, events.
Yeah, the moment you crack the offline, which a lot of people that run the online, they keep it sustainable, they keep it online. Because the offline is where, the moment you crack distribution to the local shops.
Yeah.
But of course your OPEX and your CAPEX will be, skewed. Yeah, you'll mess up a lot of your financials and
Yeah.
you need to be a lot more hands-on. But that's when, your brand can really take off in terms of the presence. Like, KC5, actually, I don't know whether KC5 started online only. Did they?
I think so.
Yeah, but you look at them, right?
Yeah.
They have physical stores, and I think down the road, it looks like you guys are
Oh, I
dreaming
hope.
to go
Dreaming,
that route,
dreaming,
right?
yeah.
But really, really interesting. Yeah, because it takes a full-time job, I would say, to build communities.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that I aspire to be. I'm working towards that, but if you're part-time, you're really part-time because you need to still dedicate a lot of time for your full-time.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure I'm a slasher because my other side, it's really a side projects. I'm not earning money from those yet, but I'm deeply inspired and motivated by those things on the side, which adds a lot more energy to my full-time job. So I think that's how I internalize me keep working on those side things. And I know this podcast is a bit long, but it's like really, really fruitful. I just want to touch on maybe two questions, because you did mention like, hey, you want to build a community.
Yeah.
And you try so many different activities to really go into those communities, right? It's like yoga. I mean, this is naturally like what I think, okay, it's yoga. So because now I like start to follow or engage with different people in yoga, because I think like, hey, yoga, fitness, wellness, all quite resonate well with me. Like, calligraphy, this kind of stuff. It's like, wow, very different groups. So it's right now you're like really building and going very broad. But at the very beginning or down the road, do you plan to like focus on one niche? Or for you guys, it's like, hey, CBD or like wellness is quite universal. You want to go all out. Because that will affect your branding strategy, right?
Yeah.
What kind of content so I just want to get how you balance it. Yeah.
So basically, when I was thinking about activities that I can create for the community, I was thinking about things that like amuse me. Like, okay, I think when I was like writing, like practicing calligraphy, it really helps me to calm myself. Like I can actually focus on something and not think about anything. Like it's kind of like a mindfulness moment where you practice yourself to stay calm and like clarity. So things that I think will help us to calm and not think about other things. And then I think, okay, it's suitable. We add CBD and then we have a collaboration. So some of the activities is where I think I wanted to have that, and then I find different parties to collaborate with me. But then a lot of times I actually really just go with the flow. Whenever my friends or people that I meet, like I was really into meeting new people last year, like what you're doing now. But instead we just go on a coffee chat and then I give them my calm ping box and see if we can just partner and collaborate something. So
That's smart.
that is when I started connecting more people, and some of them are yoga teachers. So they were saying that, oh, we should do a class together. And I was like, why not? So there are like opportunities coming in whenever I meet different new people, because, and then she knows her, and then he knows him.
It's
so
a
something
snowball
like
effect,
that. Yeah. And then it just started coming. So I was like talking to Calvin, okay, we have full-time jobs, but we also wanted to build a community. So what we do is that per month, we at least have 1 to 2 events at the weekend. So we have 4 weekends per month,
So
and
2
we
weekends
can,
for events.
2 weekends we can dedicate it into work, and the other 2 we just go
enjoy.
on staycation or pak tor as usual.
Yeah.
So that is how we divide
That's
the
nice.
time when we were both having like full-time jobs.
Yeah. And I'm very happy to see where Calm & Co has evolved. It's very. I just have one question before we wrap things up. Like, we normally ask this question to all our guests. Like, let's frame it differently, because I'm sure you had a lot of trade-off when you were actually starting on this business, going on this journey. It might be lonely, but it sounds like it's not as lonely because you have like your partner in crime to be on board this journey together, right? But what was the biggest trade-off that you felt like, okay, being an entrepreneur, what's that? And what's that one learning or one mindset or one value that really helped you go through, whether it's like through your high school days where you were suffering depression, self-doubt, and actually when you're running a business, right? Like in hindsight, when you're from future self looking back, like what's that one thing? And the trade-off first, and then the one thing that actually helped you.
I think trade-off definitely my own time, because I've never imagined myself as really full-time entrepreneur, but now after 3 or 4 months, I could say I'm still trying to balance my time. I'm working basically every day and like 24/7. Whenever I thought of something that I need to do, and then I just go ahead and do it. So there isn't any off hours for me. So this is really something that I think I should learn, because from the very beginning, Calm & Co, as I mentioned, is really just a hobby. And I just wanted to make myself happy by producing something.
It's so humble, right? Like just want to build a credibility. And that branched out and snowballed into something much bigger than that.
But then now, I think like trade-off would be really, I just couldn't stay calm and chill for
it's a bit
it's
of
very
oxy,
contradicting, because sometimes when I think about things that are undone, I was like started panicking. Oh my god, okay, this I have to launch, this I had to do that. So this is what I really need to balance, because I'm sure like years later when I look back, at this stage I'm not really like 好等錢使, I don't really have to earn a lot to help my family or help anyone, because I don't have my own children yet, so no responsibility. And my parents, they own a restaurant themselves, so they're very good at running business themselves. So I don't have any really responsibility to earn money. So I should enjoy the process instead of like worrying about financial problems. But that is like my weak point, because whenever we have new partners coming in, you wanted to give them what they expect, like
and the best experience, right?
Because they trusted in my vision, so they like put in investment and they wanted to see the company grow. So that is some kind of like responsibility, and also I also have to manage their expectation on this company, because 2 years is still very young to me. I think I'm still learning a lot, and this year I just started doing this full time. So I'm hoping myself that I would do better, because now I'm doing it full time. I should be doing better than last year. So this is some kind of like the stress,
the pressure that you give yourself though, right?
So I guess the thing that I still am learning would be to manage my time and also to really enjoy life, because I started this because I wanted to enjoy life, right? But now I am even more busy than I'm working 9 to 5 job, right? So
And what was the one thing that I might have missed that, but what was the one thing like throughout all these tough times, that made you stick through to that? Trust the process and all. Like, what's that one thing that you always tell yourself when you feel super stressed, you can't cope? It sounds like you have a perfect time with the relationship, which is always good. But what's that something like like you tell yourself like to go through the tough time?
I did have a lot of moments like struggling, doubting myself, like, okay, why am I continuing? Like, for example, when the government are banning CBD, I was like, okay, suppose it would be like the end of my company, because I don't have to pivot, right? But then I created something and I don't want it to stop. So the reason why I created the brand is because I wanted to create a community where everyone is safe talking about their mental health. So to continue that idea, it doesn't really need CBD to do this. Events or the activity that I hosted are already some of like the branches where I can focus on. And then of course I came across with this new idea of the product, and then okay, that helps, that is the product, and we can continue to expand the community by doing more activities coming. So I would say what keeps me keep on doing this is that I remember why I started this company, which is basically to create a community, to go through like the healing journey with me. Like I want people to join in the journey with me, to explore on their spirituality, explore on what they believe in. So that is what keeps me happy.
Yeah.
And I guess that's a reason why I continued.
Amazing, yeah. And I think that's a perfect way to end, this episode with Gianne. Really, really happy, and I'm honored to listen it live and learn from your experiences, your journey. And yeah, I'm just very happy and hope, I'll try out the products. We'll see how it goes. Maybe in her podcast, like I'll just put it on and then see whether I feel calm or what. Yeah, but thanks so much, for the audience, the young listeners out there, the young adults, for listening through, Gianne's journey. And if you do like it, support Gianne. I will link her Instagram profiles or website or whatever. Yeah. And if you ever found this episode helpful, like if you're thinking of starting a business, hopefully, I think this we went through quite deep, right? On the work. Of course, you won't know step by step, but hey, at least this is as deep as we can go. But yeah, if you found it helpful, just feel free to share, comments, let us know what we should cover next. And yeah, round of applause to Gianne. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.